Hey, Hannes Knechtges here. Welcome to this video. I'm so happy that you're here because I'm about to show you how to play the coolest instrument in the world. As you can see, I have an acoustic guitar here with me. It's also totally fine if you have an electric guitar with you because I'm about to show you the very basics, the very important stuff you need to become a good sounding guitar player. So we're talking in this video and in the next videos about how to hold your guitar, and how to tune your guitar, for example, which is a very important topic because especially beginners tend to think that they play something wrong or that they are not talented enough. But it's often a detuned guitar which makes it sound detuned and very crappy or whatever. This is a very important thing, and I assure you, you probably already have a tuner in your pocket. But that's a topic for a different video. I'm also showing you, of course, how the string names are. If you want to read, for example, like tabs on the internet, but we'll get to that all later. Of course, I will also show you how to pick and how to strum your guitar. So you can play like one of the most important things on the guitar, chords. And chords lead to songs. And to me, this is a very, very important topic, the most important topic, if not, because music is like the #1 motivation, inspiration to pick up the guitar every day. It's supposed to make fun, doesn't it? It's not like, oh no, I have to pick up the guitar again. No, it's about making music, about making fun. I mean, you never dreamed of, I want to learn someday like a scale or whatever. Scales are important, but you always dreamed of like making music, playing along with your favorite songs and stuff. That's why we're about to start in this video with your very first chord. Let me show you what you can do with that. This was just some of the things you can do with just one chord. It's important for you to understand that you can do so many different stuff and create so many different colors on your guitar. I could do thousands of videos about what to do with one chord. But today we check out this very chord, the A minor chord. Let me show you how to do it. So we start out with your index finger and where to place that one. Okay, I'll show you. If you take a look on your guitar neck, you see like the string that's the closest to the floor is like the first string. And then we have the second string just above it. And there we place our index finger in the first fret. You know, this is like the first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and so on. Like those fields here. They are limited by this metal thing here, which is called a fret. And you, as I said before, you use your index finger, the tip, the fingertip of the index finger, you use in the first fret, in the first field here, on the second string, like 1, 2. Okay? And use your fingertip. Don't do it like this or something. Do it like this. Your thumb is on the very back of the neck, giving counter pressure. Okay, let's do that first. Now, you take your pick, hold it like this between the thumb and the index finger. I hold it. Doesn't really matter if this is kind of new for you today. We will get into the details of how to hold a pick later. Let's make music first. Now you try to downstroke, which means like this direction, the second string. And now something like this might happen. Totally normal. Try to be as close with your index finger to the fret, to the metal thing there, as possible. Don't push on it, just right next to it, not there, okay? Push there. And build up enough pressure might be that you're not pushing enough, and this might happen. Harder, harder. Ah, there it comes. And try to do it with the fingertip, as I said before. Now you try to hit like the first and the second string at once. Okay, now we got 2 strings in total. Okay, let's add some fingers here. This was the first note you played. My crash was together with me. Congratulations. So we start pushing down the ring finger in the 2nd fret on the 3rd string. 1, 2, 3. Always count from here. 1, 2, 3. But in the 2nd field, in the 2nd fret, as close to the metal thing there, the fret, as possible. And the middle finger goes into the 2nd fret of the 4th string. 1, 2, 3, 4. Also in the 2nd fret. So it's right next to the ring finger. The index finger still is in the 1st fret on the 2nd string. And now you're allowed to play all the strings, but don't play the lowest one, like this, the fat one here. It's the 6th string, but play from the 5th string, like this one here. This is how it's supposed to sound. And as I said before, something like this might happen. You only hear plop, 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 plop. Check out every finger, one after each other. First you have this 5th string here, where you don't grab anything or something, it's just an open string. Okay, this should work. Sometimes it can happen that you touch with the nail of your middle finger by accident, like the A string. So place your middle finger just with the fingertip on the next string. Okay, this one works out fine. Those 2 strings work. And then you play the next string. Maybe this might happen again. Then you try to check. Do I block myself somewhere by accident? And the index finger on the open 1st string. And now your hand might hurt. Or your fingertips might hurt. I mean, take a look at my fingers. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I have those little lines there on my fingertips, which is totally normal. Like the strings create that on your fingertips. It might hurt a little bit at the beginning because your fingertips are really not used to that kind of pressure caused by the strings. As time goes by, after a couple of days, you won't have that much trouble anymore, probably. It's just a matter of time. The more you play, the faster it will feel natural for you. So, first things first, if you have trouble with the pressure, take a break. Shake your hand, whatever, make it feel comfortable again. Warm up your hand might also be a good idea, and then grab the chord again. But before you play it, focus just on the fingers. Are they in the right spot? Am I grabbing just with the fingertips? Take a look at your hand here again. It's a thumb here, not there, or something like this. So then you do like a dry exercise. Just press, 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 press. And then you play the chord again. Just strum down. Break, 2, 3, 4, and again. Take a break, 2, 3, 4, and again. relax your fingers and do it again. And when you do the break, just release the pressure. Don't release the fingers from the strings, but leave them in contact with the strings, you know? Just totally loose there, but still in touch with the strings. And again, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and take a break, just take away the pressure, and again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. You get the image, right? Just try to build up pressure, but make small breaks to relax your hand, because after a while, especially when you're new to this, your hand might really feel kind of stiff and uncomfortable. But you can just relax your hand, shake it, make it like feel good again, and then you start over again. This is important to do, like playing, making small rests, because when you're playing and you're changing in between chords, you always have small rests in your hand, because when you go to another chord, you have this very short moment of a rest where your fingers are moving to the next positions and stuff. This is like an actual natural situation which you should try to practice. So I hope you had a lot of fun, like checking out your first chord, and congratulations for playing your first chord on your guitar. I'm about to show you your second chord. Doesn't matter if you have an acoustic or an electric guitar, fits totally fine. So, in the first video we learned the A minor chord. And now we're about to learn one more very important chord, the G major chord. Which goes like this. You place your middle finger on the 6th string, which is the string which is the closest to you, in the 3rd fret. And make sure to be like 1, 2, 3, like really close to the fret here. Don't place your finger there within the field. Place it there. Not on the fret itself, but very close to it. I mean, you can check out if it sounds. See if I play it like on the fret, it sounds totally damped and really not very lively. We go, it sounds way more sustained. And here it becomes harder to create the note. I have to build up way more pressure to make it not buzz like this. So be as close there as possible. So then you place your index finger in the 2nd fret of the 5th string, the string right next to it. And then you put your ring finger on the very opposite, on the 1st string and the 3rd fret. So you have like 3rd fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret. Yeah. Get comfortable with that first. Check out if your fingertips are doing this, or the fingers are like standing and not like lying like this. Have your thumb ready to build up counter pressure. And you give it a try. All 6 strings. Very good. Very good indeed. But it might also sound like... If that happens, check out the strings individually. Start on the 6th string, 5th string, open 4th and 3rd and 2nd string, and then make sure all the strings are there. And then after a while make a short rest, release the pressure and build it up again. Now we play together. just downstrokes. And make a break. 2, 3, 4, and again. You always make a break of 4 beats. And then we play like 8 times. 2, 3, 4, and again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and again a break. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and again. And always remember, if you release the pressure, don't lift your fingers like this. Just release pressure, but always be ready to pick up the chord again and play it. So, if you're comfortable with this chord, if not, I mean, go for a little bit more of a dry exercise and get your fingers sorted, make them really played with the fingertips. And this might take some minutes until you really get the chord. So, now, I mean, it's your second chord. Now we could already play a song. Those chords belong to thousands of songs, so we can practice the change between those two chords. You remember your A minor chord? Like this. Index finger, first fret on the second string, and ring and middle finger in the second fret of the 2 middle strings. Then you make like a dry exercise before you hit any string between those 2 chords. Make sure your fingers all know where to go. This is really important. I mean, you're doing this like kind of a couple of days or hours or whatever. Make sure this is a really important exercise. I still do it when I learn new stuff and I see myself failing, playing some fancy chords or whatever, playing a line. I do it a dry exercise to really make sure my fingers know where to go. This has to be like really deep down in your conscience. You don't really have to think about where goes my index finger now. I mean, which way does he have to go? Like from there to there is quite a distance. Just be aware of that. And then you play the chord like once. We start on A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the G, 4, and A minor. 2, 3, 4, and G. 2, 3, 4, A minor. 2, 3, 4, and G. 2, 3, 4. Do that chord progression, dry or not dry, whatever, for a couple of minutes. Let your fingers become comfortable with this. And then I show you what you can do with it. Take a look at the chords. A minor to the G to A minor, A minor to the G to A minor, from the top. A minor to the G to A minor, A minor to the G to A minor. And again, guys, A minor to the G to A minor, A minor to the G to A minor. focus just on the chords, picking pattern for later. To the G, to A minor, to the G, to A minor. From the top again, come on guys. A minor, to the G, to A minor, to the G, to A minor. Light in Black by Uriah Heep. Really famous song. If you don't know it, check it out. It's one of the classics on guitar, especially cool for acoustic guitar. So now you know 2 chords already. You can play a song with it. And if you have trouble with the speed, slow it down. If you have trouble with changing between the chords, make this dry exercise 100, 200 times. This will take you about 5 to 10 minutes, but it's really, really worth it because it will make your fingers move way faster. And this is really important to know. And in this video, I want to show you how the names of the strings are, so you can make sure that you're able to tune your guitar or maybe even read tablature. Whatever you want to do with it, it's important to know at least the names of the open strings. So we start out with the first string. This might also be a little bit confusing when you try to tune your guitar or read tablature on the internet. This string down here is referred as the first string. It's called the E string. Then we have the second string, which is called the B string. Then we have the third string, which is called the G string. Then we have the fourth string, which is the D string. And then we have the fifth string, which is called the A string. And then the sixth string, which is again an E string. So the lowest sounding string is also called E, just like the highest sounding string. You have this low E, but you don't only have this one E, you have it in several octaves. Like you have this E, then you have this E, which is an octave higher, and then you have this E, which is again an octave higher. So the notes and the name of the notes repeat itself, so don't be confused by that. And there's another thing which you don't find on every instrument. I didn't want to say only on guitar because I'm not sure if it's only on guitar or on those kind of like guitar string instruments, because you have notes which have the same pitch but are played on different spaces on the guitar. You know, like this is an E and this is an E. You see, it's the same note, but it's played at different places on the guitar. And you have like the open E string. You can play the same pitched E also on the 5th fret of the B string. So don't be confused by that. That makes it sometimes a little bit hard to understand where to play a note on the guitar because you have several options. On the other hand, this is a very cool thing because you can make sounds like this. You can play the same note twice. And you can do funny things like this. This is a very cool thing. You can just bend strings and stuff. But this is, of course, a little going too far. I just wanted to tell you how the string names are. Important is that you remember those strings because it will help you in the future to remember chord names and to remember where to play chords, how the chords are built. So try to make and build yourself a memory function for like starting on the E, A, D, G, B, and E. Whatever it is, easy, apples, dive, greedy beyond expectation. This was a really awkward sentence, but you get the idea. Make yourself like a memory sentence where the starting letters are the string names like E, A, D, G, B, and E again. And with this, you will have a very good basis on how the string names are and to memorize chords in the future. In this video, I want to show you how to make your guitar sound good, how to create a decent sound, how to hold the pick, how to place your fingers right to make your chords and your playing sound great. So, when you play like a chord, for example, like a G major chord, you can do that in several styles, like playing it just with your thumb, of course, if you don't play with a pick. But for this video, I want to show you how to hold your pick and how to hit the strings in a cool way. So, you place your pick like, make a hook first with your index finger, like this. Okay, a hook. And then you place the pick with the tip showing away from your nail, this direction, or something like this. Then you put your thumb on it. Okay, you can see that the tip is just coming out there, not something like this or hidden between the fingers. Make sure just comes out a little bit, like half of it or something like this, or a third, something like this, depending also on the pick, of course, that you play. But now if you got this, I mean, there are several approaches how to hold the rest of your fingers. I like to have a hand closed, like this. Sometimes it's more like this, with the fingers out, but to me this feels more natural somehow. So, how to hit the strings now? I mean, it's important that you know that the angle how you hit the string also affects your guitar tone. If you have an angle like this, you know, I'm holding the pick now above the lowest string here, and the angle is like this. The pick shows like in that direction. I hit the string, or all the strings, doesn't matter, and it sounds like this. If you have an angle which is going like along the string, it will sound different. Way more plop sounding going on. Instead of having an angle like this, it sounds smoother. Try it out for yourself. Parallel to the string, or click, 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 plop, plop, plop. Or if you have like an angle like this, it sounds a little bit smoother. So don't play like this, but like this. Also, important thing, don't try to push too hard. Be as relaxed as possible with your pick. Try to play as an exercise as soft as you can. And really take a listen how it sounds. If you alter the angle of the pick, you emphasize different sounds by playing in different angles. I mean, this is obvious because you hit with a pick, which is made out of plastic, or in most cases, this metal string in a different angle, and this makes a different sound, of course. Now, if we take a look at our grabbing hand, be aware that you're going as close to the frets as possible. Like if you want to hit the G chord, place your middle finger right next to the 3rd fret here. Not on it, but right next to it. Not close to the 2nd fret, but close to the 3rd fret. Same you do with the index finger, it's as close to the 2nd fret here as possible. And the ring finger too, of course, here on the 3rd fret of the high E string, the 1st string here, as close to the 3rd fret as possible. Not on it, but right next to it. And use your fingertips. Don't play it like this, because what happens when your fingers are not standing like straight up, you might block with the back of your finger the string right next to it. Take a look at my middle finger here and the index finger. That way it works. And if I play the E and A string, and now take a look what I'm doing. When the fingers are more kind of lying on the fretboard, this will happen. With the back of my middle finger, I block the next string behind it. The same can happen, of course, with the index finger, blocking the open D string. No? So always check your chords so you can create good sounding chords, good sounding notes on your guitar. It doesn't really only matter if you're grabbing the chord right and if you're playing all the strings right. It also depends on where you play it. Especially here, this makes it way easier the closer you're to the frets, not on the frets of course. Grabbing with the fingertips, having the thumb as a counter pressure element here, and then you take a look at your pick and in what angle you hit the strings. It might be that you're, especially in the beginning, have trouble hearing all those details and differences, what I did right now. But this is also a process for your ears. Please do me the favor and experiment with those kind of things. Maybe even just with open strings if you have trouble grabbing the chord for such a long time, or you can just focus on your picking hand. And try different angles with your pick, just to figure out how to hold it in a way so it doesn't get lost on the floor or drops into your guitar, which is a pain in the experiment with the different sounds you can create within your guitar. Overdo it. I mean, if the angle is too much like this, it will sound really strange. So you have so many sounds in your guitar. Try them out, sharpen your ear, and this will be the best lesson you've ever had, because your ear will help you in so many cases that it's just so worth developing your ear. So have fun with your newly improved technique. And in this video, I want to show you and tell you what guitar you should get. So, I mean, we have a lot of guitars out there, and it might be confusing to choose one because we don't only have like different colors and guitars with electronics and without. No, for example, we also have those two different styles of acoustic guitars. The black one here is a Western or steel string acoustic guitar, and it has its name steel string from the fact that it only has steel strings. You know, all 6 are made out of steel. And this beauty over here has also 6 strings, but they are not all made from steel. Actually, only 3 of them are wound with metal or steel or nickel or whatever. And then we have 3 nylon strings. I will play some for you so you get the difference if you don't know it. I mean, you know probably this sound here. This is so familiar, don't you? Isn't it? Or you have something like this. You also might have something more funky or something. Or a lot of sounds that you can get out of a steel string acoustic guitar. But now check out this sound. Way softer, more mellow. You can of course also play it with a pleck. Also sounds a little bit like playing an ukulele or something like this. Of course, in pop music, both instruments are used. I would definitely say the steel string acoustic guitar is used way more often in pop and rock music than this beauty over here. I mean, of course, there are classics that are also played on this from rock music and stuff, but this is more used for classical guitar, where it got its name from, a classical guitar. It's not only the strings that are different on those two. The neck is also wider more often on those guitars here. I mean, the nylon strings make it kind of easier to push or to grab chords, but on the other hand, I think because the neck is wider, it can also make it a little bit harder to grab the chords compared to like a steel string acoustic guitar, which has a more narrow neck. You know, it's really more narrow and you don't need that big hands to grab some chords. Might be an option. To me, most important thing is in terms of sound. Which sound do you have in your head when you hear a guitar? Is it more like this kind of percussive kind of sound? All this really mellow acoustic guitar sound. And then, of course, we have another big player in this game, the electric guitar. I mean, we have a lot of different models out there which can make it a little bit confusing which one to get, but this stands for just a really different style, and you open up a whole new door when you pick up an electric guitar because you can cover so many styles. I mean, you can play jazz with it, you can play blues, pop music with it, rock, metal, whatever. I mean, this is just so flexible. You can have so many different sounds like a little bit blues. Rock, of course, whatever. I mean, you can also play jazz with it. If you, I mean, maybe not with this funky model here. It's not the first choice for jazz music, but of course you can. And I mean, this instrument here, come on, look at it. It just looks so super cool, and I think this is also something, especially electric guitars tend to. They look cool, and they are built to be an eye catcher, to have like crazy colors. You can have tons of effects, distortion pedals, overdrive pedals, a lot of modulation effects, delay effects, reverb effects. You can put that all on a pedal board and create crazy sounds that don't sound like a guitar anymore at all. So, I mean, of course, you can also amplify those guitars, those acoustic guitars with pickups, but it's really way more common to do that with an electric guitar. So keep in mind, if you want to answer the question which guitar you want to get, what do you hear? What do you love? What music is like your biggest inspiration to pick up a guitar, your biggest motivation to pick up a guitar? Because to me, there's not like a beginner model. Some teachers I met in my guitar student career, which told me you have to start on an acoustic guitar like this because it's good for beginners. If you're not motivated to pick that one up, why should you play on it? Because it was the same for me. I started out on a guitar like this because my mother had one, and I just picked it up, and my father actually, who got to also play a little bit of guitar at that time, showed me how to play chords, and I played my first song, Wild Thing, by the Trogs. I mean, this is also not like a song you should play on an acoustic guitar, so I lost the kind of interest in it. And after some time I bought myself, or I got from my aunt, I must say, my first electric guitar, and this changed everything. Because I could play the music I loved. I didn't really realize that as a kid, because you don't think about stuff like this in that way, and you're probably not that reflected, but today I say, pick the instrument which fits the music you love the most, best. So this is my advice. You can learn everything on all the guitars, all the basics, and you will be so much more motivated if you can play your Metallica song, whatever, on your electric guitar, and you get frustrated because your teacher tells you to play like on an acoustic guitar first. That does not really make much sense to me, because it's supposed to make fun and you're supposed to make music. So these are my 2 cents on this topic, and I hope I could help you out with this. I mean, there are so many different styles of electric guitars and acoustic guitars, of course, but you can get like a beginner's model, which does not cost that much, like 50 bucks or something. I mean, the sky's the limit, but always keep in mind, of course, that you need an amplifier in whatever size or style for an electric guitar to get a sound out of it, like distortion. Just be aware that this does not need that much money. Just go for it what you like. I'm about to show you a really cool strumming pattern for your piano. No, of course for your guitar, and we're gonna play the following. You can play it super slow. Maybe the advanced players can play it like this. Pros. See, this pattern can be used for any level, just depending on how fast you play it. You can change the style with it, and so you can say, okay, I'm a beginner maybe, but I can use that pattern forever, even if I might become a pro. So, great. We learned some chords, of course, before, but I want to practice this pattern first just with one chord so we can really focus on our strumming hand. I took the G chord, the G major chord, because there we are allowed to hit all 6 strings, so we don't have to worry about not hitting a string or something like this. So, we start with the middle finger and the 3rd fret of the low E string, our 6th string. The index finger goes into the 2nd fret of the A string, and the ring finger goes on the 1st string down here on the 3rd fret, also an E string. And it should sound like this. Make a check first. Every string, one string after the other. Everything's there? Great. So, let's start. We do 2 downstrokes, and after the second downstroke, you play immediately an upstroke. So it's down, down, up. And then we play, after the upstroke, another upstroke, and down, up. So it's down, down, up, up, down, up, 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 slower, down, down, up, up, down, 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 up, up, down, 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 up, down, down. You might have trouble playing upstrokes by now. Maybe I've just made downstrokes. But now we have two things that we have to take care of. First, if you're playing a downstroke, take a look how my hand like kind of falls down the strings. You know, the angle here of my hand, and if I play the upstroke, it's a little bit more like this. The reason why that is that I like pull the pick behind. When I go down, I like the pick is like this, you see. It's not like this, because this will sound very harsh and hard. Play up. Pick shows downwards. I do it a little bit over the top now, but you get the idea, huh? I pull it. So I can just fall down the strings. And when I play up, you see the pick. I drag it up the strings again. And the pick can move between my thumb and my index finger. It's not like that it's totally stiff and under pressure, because if you're doing this, it will sound really harsh and loud. If you want to sound smooth and cool, just keep the pick as tight, just as much as it needs to be, so it doesn't fall on the ground, but really experiment with that. And the other thing is to be in time, to be in a good rhythm, to be groovy, however you want to call it, to be in time. Keep your strumming arm in motion. Down, you know, it's down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. Just do a dry movement, up, down, down, up, down, up. My arm is moving like down, up, down, 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 up, but I only play down, down, up, 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 down. That way I can make sure that I'm always in time, because my arm is like in a steady movement, not changing, and if you do it like this, it sounds way more hectic and not as groovy as it sounds when you just keep on moving. Take a look at your favorite acoustic guitar player, which is playing a song, strumming his chords, and take a look how his arm is moving, because you really stay in time with it. Really important. So take a look at the way you hold your pick and how you move it over the strings and how you strum the strings. And be careful that it does not drop, but don't keep it too hard. And keep your arm in motion. So let's play. Down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, 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 up, down, 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 up. Have fun with this and make some breaks. Give your fretting hand a rest so it does not get too tired, and shake it to make it feel comfortable, because I mean you're probably new to this, so make rests for a couple of seconds and then go on again. I'm about to show you a cool picking pattern on guitar in this video. So let me show you what you will learn in this video. We're playing obviously here with A minor. Let's get back to that again here. Index finger is in the first fret of the B string. Ring finger in the second fret of the G string, and middle finger in the second fret of the D string. To all the people out there that might play already a little bit longer, you can also do this exercise, but try to do it faster than we do it in this exercise. But try to be as precise as possible, especially if you're trying to be in time and to be as precise as possible. You already might have the ear to check that on a higher speed. So, but for all the guys and girls out there who are new to this, let's check this out. We grab our A minor chord, as I said before, and then we start on the A string with a downstroke, then the D, G, B, E string. So we go from the A to the E string, A, D, G, B, E, and back again, E, G, D. So we go like back, forth, and then back again. A, D, G, B, E, B, G, D. And from the top, A, D, G, B, E, B, G, D. Small break for your hand, 2, 3, 4, and 1, A, D, G, B, E, B, G, E, and break. 1, 2, 3, and again. A, D, G, B, E, B, G, D, and again. Try to play every string the same way. Don't be like playing the A string here and then moving your hand in a kind of a quarter circle or something like this, and start on the A string in this position on the string and land there or something like this on the E string, like this. Because you're changing the angle of the pick on every string. Try to follow the strings with your hand and place your wrist here on the pins here. So take a close look at the hand where it's moving. Down, and up again. And moving down, always the same angle with the pick hitting the string. It seems to be very easy picking because you're just doing it without skipping any strings or whatever, but it's really tough to do that steady and going on and on and on with this. This is something that is really important to learn, that you move with your hand down and up again and always have the same angle, so you have on every string the same sound when you play a note. Just open your ears and try to be aware of that. I mean, make breaks to relax your fingers of your fretting hand. This is also very important because if you get really pushy on your grabbing hand, you will experience that you start hitting the strings harder too, because somehow those two hands are connected to each other. Especially in the beginning, I always see this with people who started off guitar. When they push hard on the left hand, the right hand will push hard too. So try to be aware of that, try to be as relaxed as possible. So welcome to this video, it's Hannes Knechtges again, and in this video, as I already showed you, we want to do some finger picking. We already did picking or flat picking with, how's it also called, with a pick, and now we're doing a very nice picking without anything in our picking hand. We just pick with our fingers, and this is probably new territory for you. So first things first, before we grab any chords or something, let's check out which finger has to pluck which string and what's the thumb's job. So we start with the thumb on the A string. And take a close look how I pick the string. Not like this with the nail or something at this point, but with the kind of like the side of the thumb. And again, I like resting my wrist here on those pins here, without muting the strings or something. Like, it's just comfortable for me. First, just try to do it with the thumb and rest your hand on the guitar. Place your hand on the guitar. Okay, now we start grabbing our A minor chord again. And now, the index finger is responsible for the G string. So try to play them one after each other. Thumb, index, thumb, index. Try to have a steady movement like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we play with the middle finger the B string. So it's A, G, B string. A, G, B string. Thumb, index, middle. Thumb, index, middle finger. Also take a look at my thumb. It's kind of like in pole position here. Don't do like this. I don't like the sound of this because you do a lot of those noises then. Try to put the thumb a little bit in pole position, like it's closer to the neck than the fingers are. So we have thumb, index, middle, and then we go back to the index again. So we have A, G, B, A, A, G, B, G string. Okay, and then our ring finger comes into play on the high E string. So we have thumb. This means A, G, B, G, E string. Get those fingers going first. This is really hard. If you've never done this, to use those 3 fingers all in one pattern. And again, A, G, B, G, E string. And on the way back, we have again B, G, B. Okay? So it's A, G, B, G, E, B, G, B. Or if you want to say it in fingers, it's thumb, index, middle, index, ring, middle, index, middle. And always keep in mind, the fingers always play the same string, so does the thumb, so you cannot get confused. When I say thumb, you only play the A string in this exercise, and index is only responsible for the G string, middle finger only responsible for the B string, and the ring finger only responsible for the E string. Okay, so this was a small break for our fretting end. And again, okay, 3, 4, thumb, index, middle, index, ring, middle, index, middle. In this video, I want to show you how to tune your guitar. And the cool thing is that you probably already have a tuner in your pocket. You know this? This is a smartphone. And you can get an app for free, which helps you to tune your guitar. So this is a possibility. Of course, you can use your ears, but I think for most beginners, this is kind of hard to just use your ears to tune your guitar properly. That's why there are also clip tuners here out there. I can show you, can open them up, and then you see like a display here which you can activate, and then you place this tuner on the headstock of your guitar, and I show you if you play a string, it shows you the name of the string. For example, A, I play the A string now, and when it's too low, see the light goes red to the left. So I need to go up, tune the guitar, tune the string up. When it's green and in the middle, it's just fine. So this is a way how you could do it, but as I'm not sure everybody has a clip tuner like this, we will go with the smartphone and an app, but it works in the same system. I just want to let you know how easy it is to tune your guitar without spending any more money. That's why I want to show it you with this. You use like an iPhone, you go into the App Store, wherever, Google Store for Android. You just Google for a tuner, guitar tuner, whatever, and there's several out there. They all work the same, like in the way I just showed you with the clip tuner. Important thing is, you need to know, as I said before, the names of the strings. So the lowest, deepest sounding, and this is important also already, so we need our ears a little bit here. So even though when we are working with a tuner, so we start out with the lowest string, which sounds the lowest, okay? Because the lowest string on the guitar is like this one, because it's the closest to the floor. But we start with the lowest sounding, the E string. The low E, the 6th string. You get the difference between the low string and the high string? That it sounds different, although they're both named E. This is an important step here. Sharpen your ears. If this is hard for you, try to sing it. You'll get it why I wanted you to do this, because, I mean, if you have a guitar and you just bought it and unboxed it, and you have absolutely no clue where you are. Maybe your guitar was detuned on purpose because it came from overseas, and this is always a way they do it to release the tension from the guitar neck when it gets cold in a container or whatever, where it's getting transported. They detune the guitars really low. So this might, I'll do it just on my A string here. So this might happen. Or you just put on a new string and this happens. You have a really low string. And you see the tuner is kind of like off. It doesn't know what's going on. Showing some C, some B. And now the thing is, I mean, how can you know now if you have to go up or down with your string to be in tune? I mean, listen to it. Does this sound low or high? I would say low, don't you? Wouldn't you do? Okay, then I go up. Okay, let me use the clip tuner here instead of the smartphone tuner, because I need to hold and tune while I'm talking to you. So now there you see a D. Go up a little, just be careful, don't go too far up. F, F sharp. See when there this little hashtag is going on, it's an F sharp. You have a G, then you have a G sharp. Oh, there comes the A. I mean, we can do the same thing on the E string now, because I said before we want to start on the E string now. Try to get if it's too high or too low. What do you say? This is probably pretty low, isn't it? Oh. So I have to get up. So there's a C, a D, oh, a C sharp, D, D sharp, and there's the E. The light is green, it's good, and in pitch. You need to open up your ears when you're tuning. I will play all the strings in the end again, so you can compare it to your guitar and try to get if your guitar is close to that or not. If not, get your tuner again and try to figure out if it's too low or too high. But which direction do you have to turn your tuning head here? In this particular guitar, we have 3 tuning heads on this side and 3 on this side. So the thing is, on this here, if I want to go higher, I have to turn it away from me. Okay? In this direction. If I want to go down, the other way around. So counterclockwise is up and clockwise is down. Same goes, of course, for these two here. And on the other side, of course, it's the other way around. If you're going counterclockwise, you're going down, and if you're going clockwise, you're going up again. So keep that in mind. I mean, there are also guitars like, for example, Fender Stratocasters or Telecasters, which have all the tuning heads on one side. There, of course, you always have the same system like you have up here. If you want to go up, counterclockwise. If you want to go down, clockwise. So I'll play now the 6 strings. And you try to compare every string to your guitar. So let's do it. We start out with the E. Also take your tuner if you have one, or download an app. Try to figure out if you're too high or too low. And now there might be a question in your head. How can I know? Okay, maybe I got it and I know that I'm too low or too high. Now you need like the order of the notes to know if you have to go up or how far you have to go up. So if we start on an E, maybe you remember that from school, after an E there comes an F. After an F there's an F sharp, then comes a G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and then again an E. So if we take again a look at our E here, and maybe I tune it up. By accident. I got a new guitar, I have no idea. Okay, there's standing F sharp. I mean, you can Google that, like chromatic scale, and just see, okay, F sharp. The string sounds kind of low, but F sharp is above E, so maybe I go down. So I turn clockwise, there comes an F, there comes an E. Until it's green. Yeah. The same goes for the A string, of course. First, take a listen. Play your A string. You think you're kind of close? Good. Maybe you're on a G sharp or something, then you're too low. If you're on an A sharp on your tuner, you're too high. Or maybe you're already on a B or something, then you're also too high. You have to go down again to come back to A. And the same with the D string. Oh, see, I'm a little bit too low here. So I have to turn counterclockwise. Yeah, it's perfect. Compare it to your D. And there's a G. Maybe it's really too low, then we are maybe on an F. You're not sure. Sounds kind of okay, but oh, it's too low. F sharp. And G. Then we have the B string. That's perfect. And the E. I hope you get the idea of what I wanted to tell you, because first of all, you need to open your ears. If you're playing or tuning with a tuner machine, that's good, but you still should use your ears to check if it's really good what you're doing there, because in the end it has to sound good. I mean, the tuner just helps you achieving that goal. But also open up your ears to be able to hear a difference between maybe a string that's too low or too high. Also, check out the chromatic scale. What does it mean? It's just the order of the notes we have in our musical system. You probably learned it at school, starting on a C, and you have a C sharp, a D, an E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B, C, again. You know, it repeats after those 12 steps. But that helps you to understand if you have to tune down or up, combined with things that you hear. And those machines help you. So I hope I could bring some light into this, because it's kind of a hard topic especially for beginners, to tune your guitar yourself, because you're also stuck then if your playing sounds kind of weird or really out of tune and you don't know why, and you blame yourself maybe for being not talented enough. But really try to tune your guitar every time you play it, especially in the beginning, to get a feeling for it, how the tuning process works. And in this video, I want to show you how many cool songs you can play with just 4 chords. Check this out. Can you feel the love tonight? Take on me, take on me. I heard you crying loud. I see a bad moon rising. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Safe tonight, fight the break of dawn. Come tomorrow, tomorrow I'll be gone. Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. So this was just a short extraction of those thousands of songs you can play with just 4 chords. I only played G, C, D and E minor. Of course I know you have just learned 2 chords so far, but we're about to learn some new fancy chords in the next videos, which will help you to play those songs, all those songs. The only difference between those songs is the melody, you sing over it, the tempo, and of course you can play a different strumming pattern over it. But let me show you something. You can just play the chords, just 1 chord with 1 strum, and it will totally fit. Can you feel the love tonight? Take on me. I heard you crying loud. I see a bad moon rising. You get the idea? This is something you can pimp up later. You can just play the chords and you already have a song going on just with those 4 chords. I mean, they're not always in the same order, of course, but that way you can see that all those big hits are also only cooked with water, you know? I mean, this is not like inventing the wheel or something, writing a rock or a pop song. It's just about having a cool melody, a cool chord progression, good rhythm going on there. It's not about like playing thousands of fancy chords, which can also work out, of course. I love fancy chords, who does not, but you can play just 4 chords as a beginner and play hundreds, thousands of songs already. I'm about to show you 3 new chords, so check those chords out. Classic chords and a classic chord progression here going on. We have E minor, C major and D major. The thing is, you might have already heard of those chords, but especially in this combination, for so many songs, it's so important that you get this progression into your hands. So we start out with the first chord, and you will notice a pretty cool detail when changing to the next chord. So it's index finger, 2nd fret, A string, and middle finger, 2nd fret, D string. Remember the strings? So it's the 5th string and the 4th string. Got it? Okay, we are allowed to hit all 6 strings. So make the check, double check if all the notes are ringing. Might be that the middle finger damps the G string here. So make sure you're grabbing the chord with the fingertips, the thumb here on the back, giving the counter pressure. Get along with that chord first. Really listen to it, just downstrokes. Comfortable with them. If you pick the downstrokes, and take a break for your hand. So we go to the next chord, and then you leave the middle finger where it is, on the 2nd fret of the D string. The ring finger goes into the 3rd fret of the A string, and the index finger goes into the 1st fret of the B string. And you don't hit the low E string, just 5 strings. A string, D, G, B, and E. Double check that again. Also make sure to have the fingers like this, not lying like this on the fretboard, and be as close to the frets as possible. I mean, it's kind of a big stretch going on here, but you know what I mean. It's easier to create a tone here than it is to create it here. Well, you see already same pressure but buzzing. So the cool thing is that you can now do a dry exercise while the middle finger stays in place all the time between E minor and C major. C major, E minor. Take a look at my middle finger here. E minor, C major. E minor, C major. And make sure the index finger has to go quite a distance. Make sure the fingers know where to go. And then play it again, like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to E minor. 2, 3, 4. And C. 2, 3, 4. E minor. 2, 3, 4. C. 2, 3, 4. E minor. 2, 3, 4. C. 2, 3, 4. And then we go to D major. All fingers have to be placed at a different spot. Index finger, 2nd fret, G string. Middle finger, 2nd fret, E string. And the ring finger goes into the 3rd fret of the B string. And you hit only the D, G, B, and E string. I think 99.9% of the time, the first time my students grabbed this chord, the ring finger blocked the high E string. So don't worry if it happens to you. It probably happened to me. So this is just usual business. It's a pretty tough chord. So if you already mastered it, great man, great girl, go on. But if not, if it's the first time for you, do the dry exercise on this very chord. Play it and then release pressure. Play it again, release pressure, and so on. You can do it without strumming, just to make your fingers comfortable to this very unusual finger position. And try to do it with your fingertips, not lying down like this. Okay, got it? Then we do a dry exercise between E minor, so remember, C major and D major. First of all, you can do the dry exercise between C and D, because all the fingers have to change their positions, and it will be quite a chaos in the beginning. Believe me, it was with me. Oh man, it was a chaos. So make sure your fingers know where to go. This is everything you need to know by now. Fingers need to know where to go. This is the biggest part. I mean, you can not expect from your fingers to be like super fast after 2 minutes or something, but go for it. Do the dry exercise. Then you strum for 1 bar, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and to the D, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And then we do all 3 chords. We start with E minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. To the C. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the D. 2, 3, 4. To the E minor. 3, 4. To the E minor. 2, 3, 4. To the C major. 2, 3, 4. To the D. 2, 3, 4. To the E minor. 2. And again from the top to the E minor. 2, 3, 4. And C. 2, 3, 4. To D. 2, 3, 4. And E minor. If you have trouble hitting the right strings, this could be that your attention needs to be too much on your grabbing hand by now. So do a dry exercise between those 3 chords. Again, do the progression E minor, C, D, E minor. E minor, C, D, E minor. E minor, C, D, E minor. And so on. Do it for 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 times, this chord progression. And then you go, when you've got the feeling of the fingers know where to go, bring in the strumming. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 6 strings, and then 5 strings. 2, 3, and then just 4 strings. 2, 3, and all 6 strings. And from the top, and E minor, 6 strings. C major, 5 strings, don't play the low E string, and to D, only 4 strings, no E and A string, and E minor. And from the top, 3, 4, and C, 2, 3, and to the D, 2, 3, 4, and E minor. So you got 3 very important chords going on here. Check them out, do your dry exercise, and I promise you we are about to play thousands of songs. I want to show you here again the 5 chords we learned all together in one video. So we start out with G. Do you remember? Always be sure where the fingers need to be and where they need to go. Middle finger, 3rd fret, E string. Index finger, 2nd fret, A string, and ring finger, 3rd fret, high E string. I call it low and high E string because it sounds low and high. So this is G. Then we had, do you remember A minor? Quite some videos ago. So all the fingers need to move. Index finger, first fret, B string. Ring and middle finger, second fret, D and G string. And now, special movement from A minor to C. We just move our ring finger to the third fret of the A string. The middle finger moves a little bit within the second fret and the index finger stays where it was. And then to the D chord. Index finger, second fret G string, ring finger, third fret B string, middle finger, second fret E string. And then we go to E minor, second fret A string with the index finger and middle finger, second fret D string with the middle finger. So we have G, 2, 3, 4, to A minor, 2, 3, to the C major, and to the D major, and to the E minor, 2, 3, 4, and again E minor for this exercise. And from the top, from the G, 2, 3, 4, to A minor, and to the C, and to the D, and to E minor, 2, 3, and again E minor, 2, 3, from the top, G, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, C major, 2, 3, 4, D major, 2, 3, 4, E minor, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, from the top, G, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, to the D, 2, 3, 4, and E minor. And again. If you're having trouble with changing the chords, do the dry exercise again. Between all the chords. G to A minor, A to C, C to D, D to E minor. G, A, C, D, E minor. Take your time for this. This is actually quite advanced here. I mean, you're a beginner. I know that. That's why you're here. But you do it your tempo, you know? I mean, there are people out there that might be slower, that might be faster than you with this. So this is quite normal. You need some time to get used to all those crazy movements. But I assure you, if you master them, this is the greatest feeling ever, mastering 4 or 5 chords and playing your whole bunch of songs, thousands of songs, not just a bunch of songs. What am I saying? You play so many cool songs, and you can now connect them to the strumming pattern, whatever you like. You can also stick just to downstroke once, and so on, as we did all the time. But of course you can say, oh, I can't do that, let me try something else. You can do like, down, up, down, 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 up, down. But this is only if you really feel like it. Please, if you have trouble changing the chords, just do one strum per chord, and that's it. It's a good preparation for bringing together all the chords and all combinations, of course, if you want. And I'm about to show you your first picking on your guitar. What is picking? I mean, you've heard of strumming maybe also before, which is something like this. You strum like more than one string at least at once, and picking is now playing strings one at a time. You might know something like this, and this is your first picking ever. Something like this. This is so easy because we don't need any chords here. We are playing an E minor chord actually, but by leaving out two strings, we have the advantage of the grabbing hand having a break. So, because we are not hitting the strings where usually the fingers need to push down some strings. So, easy going, we just can focus on our picking here. And we pick the low E string, the 6th string. Don't be confused. I say low, so I don't mean the string which is the lowest, like the closest to the floor or something like this. I call it like this because it's the lowest sounding compared to the high string. This can be confusing, but just wanted to make sure you get it. So E, and then you have to jump over two strings to the G string, which is the 3rd string from, when you count from low to high. E, and then G, then B, E. So, E, G, B, E, and back again, B, G. Say the names out loud when you play them so you can memorize the names of the strings. E, G, B, E, B, G. 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 You can speed that up, of course, if you feel like. Make sure you're walking with your hand like up and down like this. I touch with my wrist those white things here. It's kind of like a track. I can do it blindfolded. You know, I can always go here and and I'm free operating here. It can be like, it can be tough. But that way I'm in contact with the guitar and it's easier to navigate. So try that. And also try to keep the same angle, the way the pick hits the string on every string. So not something like this. You see, by moving the hand like this, I changed the angle from kind of like this to something like this, and this sounds different. Try to have the same sound on every string by moving the hand down and up again. Yeah, this was your first picking on your guitar. I'm about to show you your first picking. You say, I already played my first picking? No, this time we are doing a different picking here. We're not playing with any picks here today. We are plucking the strings with our fingers. So the cool thing here is every string has its own finger that it works for. So let me explain to you what I mean by that. I'll play for you what you're expecting in this video, and then we'll take care that you know what to do. So might have heard that, but now you're going to play that. So the thumb is always responsible in this case for the low E string. Maybe this is making some weird noise here. So just get used to that and try to pluck the string with this part of your thumb here and not like with the nail or something, to have a really nice and mellow sound. And experiment with the dynamics. What happens when you pick it loud and hard, when you play it really soft? And already be aware that the thumb lies in pole position. What do I mean by that? See here, the thumb is the closest to the fretboard. Not like this, because the fingers will sound a little bit weird when they pluck like this. So the hand position is kind of like something like this. Thumb is always leading on the way to the fretboard. So I hope you get what I mean. And now we're going with the index finger on the G string and pluck the string. Thumb, index, thumb, index. Try to make them equally loud. And now we pluck with the middle finger the B string, with the ring finger the high E string. So it's E, G, B, E. Okay? And the fingers always play the same string. Don't do everything with the index finger, what's going on up here, or with any other finger. Really make sure the thumb and those three fingers are working, all on their specific string. And then we go backwards again. So we play E, G, B, E, and then B and G again. E, G, B, E, B, G. So thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index. Thumb, index, middle, ring, middle, index finger. Up a little bit. And always remember, the thumb is in pole position, so it's close, the closest one to the fretboard. Not something like this, because I will show you why. When you pluck strings like this, you get a lot of this noise here. I don't like that. So And if you're a little bit advanced and already mastered that, you can try to play a little bit with dynamics there. That means you play the thumb note and the high E string note a little bit louder than the others. So you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you hear that? First and the fourth note of in our bar here are a little bit louder, and it makes it like it gives it a better rhythm, it's more dynamic and makes so much more fun to listen to. I want to show you today one of the most important tools in the world of guitar playing. You might have heard of this. This is a capo or capo duster. This is a funny little tool. I mean, in a way, it's pretty simple because it just pushes down strings at a certain place, something like this. You can just put it on the fretboard. And you might have read about this in tabs or whatever, capo 5th fret or something like this. But what is it for, actually? Let us get back to the part where you played your first chords, like A minor, C, G, for example. Beautiful open chords, which means, what does mean open doesn't mean open chords? It just means that we have open strings going on there. You know, we're not like playing a bar chord like this. This is some advanced stuff that's useful for other stuff, but I mean, take a listen to the difference. It's a G major bar chord. The same notes like our beloved G chord here, but our chord here has open strings, so it rings pretty nice and has this open and wide sound. Used in millions of songs, and then we have the G bar chord. This is also useful that you're capable of playing this, but it does sound different. And a lot of songwriters love playing those open chords where you have a lot of open strings going on. And those chords I already showed you are like the basis of songwriting in a certain way. They sound just awesome. And if a songwriter says, okay, I love like my G and my A minor and my C, and I want to sing a melody to it, you're like, okay, you say, I don't know, this is really too low for my voice or something like this. You say, okay, let's put a capo in the 3rd fret, and now we play the same chords, but we pretend this is like our open guitar now. So we're going like for our G shape, like 1, 2, 3, like here. You see, it's the same shape, but because I'm using the capo, I still can play it there and having my open strings. And then I sing my melody. You see, I mean, I sing it higher now, but I can use the same nice open sounding chords. This is how songwriters might think, or do think. I mean, I'm a songwriter myself, and this is absolutely a very useful tool to being able to play a song in a different key without thinking about, okay, the guy doesn't want to play it in this key with G, A minor, C. Okay, then I have to rethink. He wants to play it higher, then I have to play like an A. You see, I can play songs in different keys too. I don't use a capo, but then the chords are different. I cannot always use my nice open chords there. Let me show you the difference. I play now in the same key, but I use my nice open chords here. I just improvise that melody, so it doesn't make any difference if you play like a famous song or whatever. It's just to show you what happens then. Take a close listen to this chord. There's nothing wrong with it, but the chords are stressful to play, they don't sound that nicely open, and this is the reason why so many people use a capo out there. It also makes it easy if you want to play a song that's usually played on a piano and played in a key that's, like I just played, in a weird key for guitar players, and you say, oh, nice, the piano player didn't play it in A minor, so I cannot play my nicely open chord, but he played it in G sharp minor. And then you can say, okay, that's too tough. I use a capo. I play an E minor shape, but there's sounds in G sharp minor. You know, and this is a fun thing to check out and to have. It's like a 10, 15 bucks kind of thing, not that expensive, and you can just put it there on guitar so you don't lose it like I do all the time and have to buy a new one. So yeah, a capo, great thing. You can also do experimental stuff and just put the capo on certain strings and leave like one string out. You know, it's sky's the limit there again. You can do crazy stuff with a capo. So this is a necessary tool you should have if you want to play classic songs from, I don't know, pop music, rock music. There's so much capo going on in so many songs. And even if you want to play like a song easier that is like played on a piano or on a key that you cannot really play that nice, then it's cooler to have a capo around and being able to do that. One other thing is, I mean, you can transform your guitar into a different sounding instrument. I mean, for example, you might have noticed that when you play the guitar up the neck, it sounds really kind of percussive and really, of course, high, but it sounds a little bit like a... Those chords weren't possible if you wouldn't use a capo. It sounds like a whole different instrument, like a banjo or a mandolin. If I would play the chords with bar chords here, whoa. Totally a different style. The capo, you can transform your instrument into a different sounding instrument. It's fun to experiment with that. In this video, I want to show you how to play your first solo ever. Maybe you think, oh, I'm not talented enough to play a solo yet, or I just started out. How could I play a solo? Yes, you can, because there are several ways to approach a solo. A solo doesn't have to be like heavily complicated, or a solo doesn't have to have like thousands of notes played very fast or something like this. You can play a pretty nice solo just with one note, or with 2 or 3 notes, whatever. You don't need that many notes. It's also important how you play it. And that means, do you play it soft, do you play it loud, or do you play an interesting rhythm with it? And I want to show you how to play your first solo, and by just taking care of a couple of easy things, and you will be surprised how easy it is to play a solo. So let's start out with this. I have a chord progression recorded for you, it's also called a backing track, to play along for yourself at home. Or you can just play along with me, whatever you like. Feel free just to play along and play out your crazy solos out there. But I'm gonna play a chord progression which contains the chords we already learned here. It's E minor, A minor, C major, and G major. So just so you know which chords are lying beneath. So how do we start out? And what notes can we play in this case? I mean, it's pretty easy, as we have a chord progression which is in E minor, and haha, we have some notes of E minor going on where we don't need to grab anything at all. So, for instance, we can start with the open G. And for now, let's just play it always like this. Only open G string here. And everyone, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really try to hit the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, Make sure you only hit the G string. That's the important thing, and to be like on beat. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The cool thing here is, as you heard, the tone fits perfectly for every 4 chords we played beneath. So the G belongs to the E minor chord. I mean, you already see that. This is a little theory here which is pretty obvious, so it's cool to check out. Because you have in your E minor chord already the open G string. That makes sense that the G, if you play solo with it, fits perfectly over that chord. Then you have A minor. Then you would say, oh, there is not an open G string in there. but still it fits because it's a 7 of the chord. That could also play the A minor without the ring finger, then it has a A minor 7 chord. But don't really think about the theory here, it's just cool, it fits, it gives it a nice color. And then you have the C chord. Again, you see we have the open G string here in our C major chord. So our G solo note fits in there too perfectly. And then at the G, of course, I mean, if a G doesn't fit over a G chord, then what? I don't know. So this is an easy approach, of course, to check out, do I have within my chords any open strings? It might be a little bit boring after a while to play only on 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. This was just for the entrance, and that you're capable of just playing that one string and not hitting by accident any of the other strings or something like this, and to be like on top on the first beat. This is the important thing to learn here. Practice that for yourself if you had trouble with it. If you already mastered that, cool. I'm gonna show you how to play a solo. Your first solo you played in the last video probably already, so this is kind of like your second solo, but in this video I want to show you how you can make your video, your solo more interesting by picking certain rhythm. Because we played over one note in the first solo, we just played the G, the open G string, and we played it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and so on, so on. It's a good start to like hit the note on the very first beat of the very first bar of the solo. Good choice. But you can make it really way more interesting by and giving it a little bit more spice by adding some rhythm to that. What does it mean in terms of the solo? You could play like so you play like on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so on the 1, on the 2 and on the 3 and. This makes it already way more interesting, and I will show you how it sounds in the context. So check this out. Try to hit the string in the moment I do it. Only open G string. No other strings. Combine it with our first solo, just on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we start with our second solo, okay? Every 2 bars. So we start with our easy solo, and now we do a second pattern, and the first pattern again, and again the second pattern, first pattern, and the second. So you see for yourself, by playing on one note and by just playing 2 different rhythms, it's so much more interesting by mixing those rhythms together. We can get creative here, and I could do like, I don't know, 200 videos, 1,000 videos about different rhythms that I can play on one note. This would actually be like an interesting challenge to do 1,000 videos on that. You get the idea. Combining different rhythms and being limited just to one note can still be interesting solo. And I know, of course, there's more just than one note, but you could play just one note and it would be still an interesting solo. So experiment with that, take the backing track and try it out for yourself. Just don't take like 2 notes or something, just pick one note, for example, open G, and go for it. Just get crazy on that, try to be experimenting with those different rhythms you can come up with. In this video I want to show you how to play a solo with 2 notes, and we're talking about and combining about the rhythms that we already learned here to put together with those 2 notes. So let me explain what we are about to do in this solo. We start out on the G string, which we started out all the time, and we play our second rhythm first, and then we play the first rhythm to play just on the 1. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? This is like the rhythm part. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... This is what we play while the E minor chord is running. So... And then on the next chord we play a different note. We play the note in the 2nd fret of the D string, and we play the same rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Under this lies the A minor. Then we do the same thing when the C major comes up. And when the G chord comes again, we play the open G again. Okay, got it? We start out with the note G, and we go to the note E, which is in the 2nd fret of the D string. Then we play again the E, and then we play the G again. So, let's do it together in a slow tempo before we get it into with the backing track, which you can of course download and just play along as often as you wish. So, we start out on the G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 to the E, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And we repeat this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 to the G, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. From the top again on the G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 to the E, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, and repeat this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back to the open G. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So this is the basis of our solo now. We put together 2 different rhythms and 2 different notes. And let's do this so we get it into a context. So see you in a couple of seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. The E. To the E. And to the G again. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so we combined two notes and two different rhythms, and this is important to know. Of course, we could build in there more rhythms, more notes, whatever, but the thing also here is I tried to do this in the backing track too, to have a little bit of dynamic going on there too. That makes the solo also really interesting to play, like the first notes like really soft, and the next ones pretty hard. Get the idea, it's just about dynamics. But it also can be like, do I play a note long or short? So I have like, or you have millions of variations. You can combine this. You know, you get the idea. You can do so much stuff just with two notes and two different rhythms. So I would recommend for you to play it just like open, just don't play short notes in the beginning, just get used to those two different rhythms and those two different notes. And then you try to play the notes all short. So you have like, you get the idea. I kill the notes by getting with my wrist here on the strings, so I damp them. And this is an easy way to have another option in terms of how to make your solo sound interesting. So play it long and let the notes ring, and then play them short. In this video, I want to show you how to play your first solo with 3 different notes. Not only we will use 3 different notes, but we will play them at a different place within the bar, so we have a pickup. So you might now ask, what is a pickup? Pickup phrase in this case, or a pickup part in our solo, is something that plays before we have the chord change or before the song actually starts. So we have like the count in, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the band starts to play, the drummer starts to play, the rhythm guitar is running and stuff. And before that happens, I start playing the solo. And my line, my solo line, always comes up right before we have the chord change. So this makes it interesting, and not only start our solo lines always on the 1 of a chord progression. You know, till now we play it like and so on. We always had, when we had a chord change, we started our solo line. Now I want to do it, deplace it a little bit to make it more interesting. And as I said before, we're going to add another note. So, but don't worry, it will still be manageable and easy. So we start in the 2nd fret of the G string. So we play the note A. So it's A, and then we play the open G string, sorry. And then we go to the E, which is in the 2nd fret of the D string. So do it like 2, 0, 2. The notes are called A, G, E. And I play with the middle finger here. Play it all with downstrokes. Keep it as easy as possible. It's also difficult to change between 2 strings while we're playing your solo. We are not just playing on 1 string as we did before, but we play 2 notes on the G string and the 2nd fret and the open string, and then you have to not only to change your finger on the fretboard, but go to the D string here. So, and as I said before, I wanted to deplace the rhythm. So we are not playing it on the 1, we don't start on the 1, we start on the 3. So we have like the pickup, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, sorry, 3, 4, 1. So we start on the 3. So and again. And this time we're playing twice the open G over the very last chord, our G chord. So we have like 3 times A, G, E, 4, 1, 2, A, G, E, 1, 2, A, G, E, 3, 4, 1, 2, A, G, G. Okay, let's do this with some music in the background. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. In the very last run-through, I played this phrase, where I play the twice the time the open G string, also at a different spot. And I wanted to show you that you can vary on notes, vary on rhythm, of course, too. You could play like the rhythms we did in the first videos, like you could like play like a more complex rhythm with those 3 different notes. It's also, of course, possible. Experiment with all those things we did here. And this is the important thing. I mean, a solo can be improvised, and there's no limit to what you do within a solo. You can just have a concept at the beginning to have a guiding light or something like this, so you can stick to one rhythm, makes it sometimes, and give yourself like only 1 or 2 notes, makes it easier in the beginning to get through a solo spot, because you don't have to choose between all those notes. It can be confusing, I think, and you overplay it and you're confused, and your technique is maybe not as developed as it should be when you do like something with string skipping, where you leave out strings and go like so high and so low at the same time. Focus yourself on playing easy stuff that varies in rhythm, in terms of volume, that you play some soft and some loud things, and short and long notes. You know, this is enough for the beginning, and it can make really interesting solos. I think of guys like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, for example. I mean, sometimes he's really crushing it on the recordings and firing out like a lot of notes and fast lines and stuff. But to me, this is a good example of, I don't know, the famous song Californication has a pretty easy solo which repeats a lot of phrases, a lot of notes, and repeats a lot of easy rhythms. And this is still a cool solo to listen to. Doesn't need to be like fast and super crazy amount of notes or something like this. Always keep this in mind. This is, to me, way more important to have like something interesting going on that can be like a repetition or a volume decrease or whatever. I think you get the idea. I want to show you something that most guitar players forget when they start out playing guitar. Something that you need to really become a better musician and to sound better than anybody else who's probably on a kind of like same technical level. I'm talking about dynamics. It's something that gets forgotten pretty often. What's dynamics actually? I mean, you know that from other things like you can go slow, you can go fast, you know, this is dynamic, being dynamic, and move, being flexible, and on the other hand, like, you know, opposites. It's, I would say, about opposites. And in terms of how you can do that on your guitar, it's as easy as that you can play a chord like this. Or you can play it like this. And you can play that within a strumming pattern. You can play it like totally even all the time, and this can also be a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it does not always have to be loud or really soft. If you have an average sound level and you're like playing that all those songs through, of course it works somehow, but I think it's way more interesting if you have passages which are like this. This can happen within a strumming pattern. I also did that right now, like hit the first strum really hard, that first downstroke really hard, and then go softer for the others. That makes it way more interesting to listen to. I mean, of course, you don't have to do it all the time, but you could like be in a chorus where the energy is top level. You could go really for something like this, or if you're in a verse, you're going like really soft to make space, you know, for the vocals, for example, if they're not that loud and if it's about the lyrics and stuff, you're going really softer. And then it comes to the chorus, you're getting louder. Okay, let's do this together. We start out with a chord progression, G. Well, let's first just only play a G before we have a chord progression. And we take our strumming pattern, so you get used to this, don't get me wrong. We play like 2 bars, really soft with our down, down, up, down, up pattern. Okay, 2 bars, so 2 times the strumming pattern, and then we play it really loud for 2 bars and then soft again. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now loud. And soft again. And loud. Soft. Loud. Soft. And loud. So now you could just put more chords in that. So let's go with G, A minor, and C. And back to G. 1 whole chord progression of G, A minor, C, G, soft, and then we start loud, playing loud with G, A minor, C, G. Okay? So Let's do it a bit slower because we have chord progressions going on here. Do something like dum, 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 dum. So each chord we play the pattern twice, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, soft. Now we go into A minor. Becoming louder already, going to the chorus, volume. To the A minor chord. To the C. To the G. Becoming softer in volume. Becoming louder, softer, and hit it. This is just one example of dynamics. Of course, you could also do that on a different level and say, okay, I reduce my rhythm pattern to a minimum for a certain part, and then I develop it. You know, you could play like the verse in a song, just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, going to the A minor, pretty soft, and only one strum every bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and now we play our pattern and play it loud. Get the idea. It's like opposites. You have like a lot going on, not that much going on. Soft volume, high volume, low volume, whatever. And this is an important thing. You don't have to be like on high level all the time. This is annoying after a while. And this also separates like the good players out there from the not so good players out there. It's always way more interesting if you have something going on. That doesn't mean that you have to play like lightning fast solos with thousands of notes or thousands of chords within a song just to play them. It's sometimes way more interesting to just play with not that many ingredients, but like use them like the listener really understands that you're moving, that you're doing something, that your music is breathing. I think this is a good term. Use the ingredients you have that you are capable of and make them interesting. Thanks for watching and have fun trying out your chords and your songs, your chord progressions or whatever you like, and play them with more dynamics. Thanks. Take care, guys. Bye.